This is just a hobby for me. My real job is designing telescopes for NASA. You know, they're kind of tuned into what I do, and that's a nice feeling. Yes, I bought you a bar stool for Christmas, a present I know you'll adore. I do songs that I've done for years, and they keep changing and they keep evolving. And I like that. I enjoy that a lot. I was working in front of a band a while ago. I had this big orchestra behind me. I looked back in the horn section, and a guy was playing a rubber horn. I'd never seen one before. It was just amazing. Yeah, he was playing safe sax. Thank you very much, and welcome to the show tonight, and thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. It's a wonderful theater. I've never been here before, and it's probably one of the greatest theaters I've ever been in my life. It's just sensational. I started working on this show. They wanted all new material on this show, and I started working on it about a year ago, and I had this vision, this dream of doing a show with songs and stories that would connect and interact and start solving problems in the world, and at the end there'd just be this blinding flash of cosmic truth and illumination, and would change all your lives. And I didn't even get close to that. All I've got are a bunch of songs and stories here, and this first one's about superstition. I've thought about superstition a while ago, because I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in superstition. I think it's bad luck. The superstitions are too far-fetched. I mean, a superstition is like this. An orange falls off a table. A week later, there's a nuclear holocaust, and they blame it on the orange. Yeah. And it's kind of a stretch. I think you should have superstitions you can prove scientifically. Like, to me, a good superstition is it's bad luck to walk up to Mike Tyson and say, "Ha ha, you lost the title." You can prove that. You can do that. I think it's bad luck to yawn in a sandstorm. It's bad luck to have a whale fall in love with your sailboat. This is a true thing. I had some friends who were out in the middle of the ocean, and this whale fell in love with their boat and spent the whole night rubbing up against their boat. And luckily, the boat didn't return the caresses. The whale got tired and went away. But these are superstitions. I think it's good luck to have anyone named Rockefeller put you in their will. I think it's bad luck to stand up at a Greenpeace meeting and say, "Hi, I'm the chairman of Exxon Corporation." I think it's bad luck to walk through downtown Beirut singing, "I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy." I do have one real superstition. My one real superstition is an airplane superstition. I think on airplanes it's good luck to have as many engines as possible. You agree? I think every airplane should have 40 or 50 engines, minimum. And then if 2 or 3 drop off, it's no big deal. But this is a song about a man who had no superstitions, none whatsoever. He was above it. He got on a plane Friday the 13th flight of the day. In gate 13, the planes were late. There was a 13-minute delay. But he scorned superstition, disdain premonition. In row 13, he laughed at fate. There were 13 peas on his dinner plate. Airline screwed up. Gave him a double helping. Over the sea, a storm severe threw the plane around. The end was near. The man sat calmly as a sphinx, but the pilot ordered 13 drinks. It was a Northwest flight. And he scorned superstition, disdained premonition. In row 13, he laughed at fate. There were 13 peas on his dinner plate. They landed in dense fog, missed the runway, crashed into a bog. The plane caught fire, the flames grew higher. Women screamed and children cried, but they were all saved, nobody died. And the man laughed at the fuss. And he stepped out of the airport. Got creamed by a bus. I like that little stand, don't you? That little water stand. So that's what that was made for, is just to hold one glass of water. How do those guys who are hip do that? How do they keep their sweaters right there? Have you ever wondered? Mine, I don't know, they never do it. I was trying to write comedy a while ago on a computer, and I was writing late at night, and I fell asleep. Obviously, I was writing some pretty hot stuff. But I fell asleep with my finger on the letter K. I did. So you're looking at the only guy in the world who's filled an entire hard disk with the letter K. I had billions of Ks. And Ks, if they'd have been worth anything, I'd have been rich. So I spent the next few weeks working on a computer virus that would wipe out all the other Ks in the world. And then I'd have the only ones. People would have to come to me for Ks. And I'd charge big bucks. Open up a Kmart. Yeah, I was going to be rich. I was going to drive around a K car, sponsor 10K races. KKK had come begging me for Ks. I'd say, sorry, you guys can go to L. And at night, I'd just sit there scrolling through my Ks, cackling madly like a miser that I was. But then one night, I started writing comedy on a computer, and I fell asleep with my finger on delete. It wiped me out. Now I know how Donald Trump feels. Life isn't easy. I was thinking about violence a while ago. We seem to live in such a violent society. There's all this stuff going on, crime in the streets and everything. And one night, just to take my mind off of it, I went to a Charles Bronson movie. I think it was Death Wish 37. Charles was 89 years old, had a walker equipped with a machine gun, a rocket launcher. That night I came home from the movie, and I was taking a shower, and I thought, how do I fit into this society? I mean, like, I'm not Rambo, you know. I'm just a middle class kind of a guy, and I like to read and stuff. And how do you deal with streets like that? And I realized there are only two choices. One, you get a bigger weapon, the Rambo alternative. Or two, you find some calm, rational inner strength, some way of dealing with violence and handling it in a mature way. Well, the choice was obvious. A bigger weapon. When I came out of that bathroom, I was ready. I was macho yuppie. I got my hair dryer working. It's loud and mean. 300 horsepower. Muscle machine. You can feel the fear when I hit the street. I'm hair dryer man. Yes, I'm the heat. Big hair dryer. When I cut loose, it'll fry your hair. Melt your mousse. I got my hair dryer working. Bring on Dirty Harry. Make my day. I'll grab my dryer. Blow 'em away. He can shoot those bullets I don't care, Jack. I'm hairdryer man. I'll blow 'em right back. Big hairdryer. Don't push me, friends. I'll hit you with the big one. Split ends. I got the hairdryer working. You remember that Yellowstone fire? Got a little careless with my hairdryer. One night I left it alone, blew a big hole in the ozone. So you can take your macho toys, little guns and knives for little boys. Got the big hairdryer. Don't you forget the Gobi Desert used to be wet. Got my hairdryer working, yeah, yeah. Thank you. I've been working a lot on cruise ships lately, just going all around the world on these ships, and it's a wonderful deal. I've learned to love the ocean. I think the ocean is just terrific. It's wild and unpredictable, and you never know what it's going to do. It's a lot like a savings and loan. Only the ocean's easier to bail out. I'm so proud of our country. We're the only country in the world that's got a welfare system for banks. No one else thought of that. And I don't mind that. I think we taxpayers should bail them out, because I know for a fact if we ever got in trouble, those banks would be right there to help us. Traveling's fun. You have little adventures. I was in Edinburgh, Scotland last year, and late at night, coming back to the ship, and the cab driver got lost. And we're in the tough dock section of town, and it's pitch black and raining, and we're getting more and more lost, and the streets are getting narrower, and there's kind of sinister figures lurking in doorways, and it got really quiet in the cab. And just to brighten things up, I turned to the driver and said, "Hey, where are you from?" And he said, "Iran." And then he turned to me and said, "Where are you from?" I didn't back down. I looked him right in the eye. I said, "Canada." You bet. I love hockey, eh? There are things in life I avoid, like head-on collisions and wars. Being taken hostage leaves me annoyed, being attacked by wild boars. Yes, these are a few of my least favorite treats, but I'd do them all before I'd eat beets. I hate beets. Are there any people out there who don't like beets? All right, good. You got to be strong in these days. I think restaurants should have warnings out front. You know, we serve sulfites and beets. I don't like prison or the electric chair. I wouldn't like to cut Don King's hair. I don't like to shower in acid rain or water ski behind a hydroplane. But I'd do them all these gruesome feats, before I'd ever eat beets. You know, the trouble with beets is you never order them, right? You never sit down and say, "Hey, I'd like a plate full of beets." No, you say, "I'll have a salad," and you get a plate full of beets. It's all this red stuff, and the trouble with beets is you can't pick them off. Beets aren't like broccoli or something. Like, I've heard some weird guys don't like broccoli. Boy, is that crazy. But you can pick broccoli off if you don't like. No big deal. You can't do that with beets, because beets leak. Right? You pick them off, you got all this red stuff. It's like the love canal of vegetables. I hate beets. Hot beets or cold beets, I don't care. And salad or stroganoff, anywhere. And when it comes to borscht, you can save your breath. If I lived in Russia, I'd starve to death. But if you put me in a cell for 10 seconds or more with Leona Helmsley and Zsa Zsa Gabor, you'd see one of my biggest retreats. I'd be in there screaming, bring on the beets! I haven't done any blues yet. That's pretty much what I do best, is sing the blues. Studied some of the great blues singers of all time, people like Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee, B.B. King, Donny Osmond, Pat Boone, all the heavyweights. But there are times in your life when someone you trusted, someone you believed in, hurt you, they let you down. And there's only one thing to do, and that's sing the blues. I think my mechanic has been cheating on me. I think my mechanic has been cheating on me. You laugh, B.B. King is nervous right now. I'm paying big bucks and my car's in misery. He advertised a brake job, $39.95. $600 later, I barely got out alive. Then the brakes seized up the first time I tried to drive. Shimmies to the left, shimmies to the right. Step on the gas and it'll dance all night. I think my mechanic has been cheating on me. I'm eating beans, he's buying waterfront property. Some nights you just get it all together. I think my mechanic has been cheating on me. But what goes around comes around eventually. 'Cause I ripped him off on that waterfront property. Got swamp to the left, swamp to the right, started to slide in the ocean just last night. I think my mechanic gonna stop cheating on me. He said, I gotta get help before it slides too far. I said, no problem, you can borrow my car. I was thinking about being gentle a while ago. We don't have, our heroes today seem kind of violent. I thought we should have a gentle hero, and I couldn't think of any. And I thought I'd kick the microphone. My leg was starting to cramp up there. I thought I'd invent a gentle hero, and so I did. This is kind of a cartoon, or I was reading comic books. I was looking at them one day in a store, and I thought I'll make my comic book hero. Are there any Zen Buddhists out there? If so, you'll recognize this riff. It's a Zen riff. If you play this over and over, it becomes as effortless as a leaf falling from a tree. You can also drive your neighbor stark raving mad. Music has many powers. A rock and roll friend of mine reached the end of the line. 10 years of going from town to town, he's a little run down. Too many parties, too much to drink. He had to hire somebody to help him blink before he could play with the band. Had to tape him to the microphone stand. This whacked out shell of a man took a plane to Japan, and he found sanctuary in a monastery. Yes, he found rejuvenation in guitar meditation. 6 years he played one chord, he was restored. Pure in his heart of hearts, he studied martial arts. In Kung Fu he became a star, the world's first black belt guitar. Guitar Fu, Guitar Fu. He doesn't need guns or swords, he's got mystic riffs, hypnotic chords. Guitar Fu. Mystic riff. Meanwhile, in the USA, terrorists were making their play. Outcasts, afraid to show their faces, kicked out of public places, fought the abuse. Yes, fanatic smokers were on the loose. The nicotine ninja. Marlboro Marauders, Camel Commandos, Winston Warriors. They've been pushed too far. They had the ultimate weapon. 44 Magnum, semi-automatic, armor-piercing, anti-personnel, cheap cigar. In a mass attack, they puffed together, blacked out the sun, destroyed the weather. Not the greenhouse effect, a terrible curse, but the nightclub effect, 1,000 times worse. A huge black cloud covered the nation, only one man could be our salvation. Guitar Fu, Guitar Fu. He doesn't need guns or swords, he's got mystic riffs, hypnotic chords. Guitar Fu. He played mystic riffs, but they didn't hurt smoke. Hypnotic chords, but he was starting to choke, gasping for air and playing faster. Then he heard the words of his Kung Fu master. Wind chimes. Kung Fu masters always have wind chimes. Sometimes when the going gets tough, your own strength is not enough. Ooh, he hadn't thought of that. In the midst of his smoky pain, he racked his brain to find a friend who could put an end to this dread menace. Then from over the hill came the one person who could do it. I got my hair dryer working. I'll save the day. Thank you very much. I started to talk earlier about things that have been going on in the world in the last year or so. So it's kind of grim now, but boy, there's some pretty positive things that went on, and I was excited. That democracy was breaking out in Eastern Europe and a lot of places you never expected it. Even in Mongolia, they'd voted out the communists. It was a tremendous relief for me. I can't tell you the sleepless nights I spent worrying about Ulaanbaatar. And so, have you ever noticed how some countries just have lousy locations? That's a big part in the success of a country like Mongolia. I mean, it's in the middle of a desert, and it's between China and Russia. These aren't great neighbors. I mean, they're not the kind of people you want to watch your house when you go away on vacation. It's a tough location. Costa Rica's like that. Costa Rica's a nifty little country. It's been democratic for about 150 years, and it's a high literacy rate, and it's great, but it's between Panama and Nicaragua. It's not a good neighborhood. It's like building your house on a firing range or something. And you can't move a country. You can't back the U-Haul up to the door and take it on down the road because all the spots are taken. Where do you put it? Poland. I mean, someone must have walked up to the Polish people and said, hey, I can get some land cheap. One minor problem is between Germany and Russia. So there will be armies passing through here every few years. Poland's kind of a hard hat area. I mean, Terrible location. In the United States, we're lucky. We've got a tremendous location. Unless, of course, Canada attacks Mexico. But I root for all these little countries. I root for underdogs, and most of us do. I root for all underdogs. I root for the poor and the homeless and the helpless. And in football, I root for the New England Patriots, Cleveland Browns. I'm rooting for one of them to win the Super Bowl. It won't be easy. 24 other teams have to forfeit, I think. But I root for all underdogs. I root for huge mutant otters to come down from Alaska and dump all over Exxon Corporation. I root for cows to overthrow meatpacking plants. I root for Yugo to win Import Luxury Car of the Year. I root for Andrew Dice Clay to turn Quaker. I root for Dan Quayle to win the Nobel Prize in philosophy. It'd shake a lot of people up, wouldn't it? These are long shots, and I root for the United States, especially in business now. A lot of other countries are getting very strong in business, and one country has everybody terrified, but not me. I'm not afraid of Japan. I'll face that challenge like a man. They're in every business, so it won't be long till the Japanese humorists come along. Yes, there's big money to be made in comedy these days. Tonight alone, I'm making well over $100. Waking. Some nights you can't talk. That's just the way it works. I'm stone sober, too. You should see me drunk. Scary. Yes, Japan will realize the big opportunities in the comedy business. And they'll do it like they did with automobiles. At first, they'll send over cheap imitation comedians. Everyone will laugh at them. Suddenly, they'll realize that's the object. It'll be too late. Everyone will panic, but not me, because I'm not afraid of Japan. I'll face that challenge like a man. Soon sumo comedians will be the rage. They'll be bumping other comics off the stage. But I'm not afraid, because I believe anyone from any country can be the very best. I believe I can be the Rocky of comedydom. Someday I'll get my shot at the title. The Japanese comedy champion will walk out on stage. A Zen master comedian, the greatest the world has ever seen. But I won't be afraid, because I am Rocky. I've spent months in a meatpacking plant telling jokes to sides of beef, till the cows got mad and overthrew it. And I'll start doing my show. And I'll be taking a terrible beating, but I won't quit. And soon underdogs from all over the world will start cheering for me. Huge mutant otters will be screaming, Michael, Michael. New England Patriots will be screaming, Michael, Mike. Dan Quayle will be screaming, which one's the Japanese guy? And then there come the last round, and we'll both unleash our best stuff, and next to him, I'll just look cheap and artificial and imitation, and everyone will laugh at me. And then they'll realize that's the object. And I'll win, and I'll sing, I'm not afraid of Japan. I'll face that challenge like a man. And he'll sing out the other way, I'm not afraid of the USA. Yes, our fears of each other are long gone, but we're both a little nervous about Taiwan. I've been lucky all my life. I had an easy childhood. My parents worked hard, And I thought about that. In the race of life, I had a huge advantage. I mean, I had about a 10-mile head start over most of the kids in the world. And it's not fair. I was American, middle class, white, male, all these little things, and they're huge advantages. And as I grew up, I started looking at poor kids, and I realized it's not fair. I mean, there's so much more to contend with. And then I looked at rich kids, the other extreme, and then in the race of life, they get to start past the finish line. You know? It's like, I'll race you to be a success, and I'll start with $500 million. You know? Takes a lot of the excitement out of the competition. Some rich kids handle it better than others. Some of them try and do productive things and be good citizens, and I admire that because they don't have to do that. Other rich kids are just kind of worthless and snobs, and if you're rich, I don't know how you avoid that. Personally, I have solved the problem. I don't want to make the big time, don't want to roll in money, because when billionaires have kids, they often turn out funny. I won't slave away at jobs, get all dirty and scruffy just to raise some little snobs with names like Biff and Muffy. No, I'm staying poor. It's the least I can do for the kids. Big money could destroy their egos and their ids. When they look around and see the squalor I brought them to, I'll just say, hey kids, I did it all for you. You wouldn't want unfair advantage so rich you couldn't fail. You wouldn't want me to buy you into Harvard or Yale. I could have worked hard, made $1 billion or $2 billion, but instead I stayed a worthless bum, and I did it all for you. So when you children struggle and make it to the top and see those troubled rich kids, I want you to stop and think, how can you save your kids from being spoiled and sad? And just round up all your money. Send it to your dad. So much fun to watch people. I was watching a kid the other day, a teenager, and he had purple hair with big spikes in it. And I thought, now that'd be fun. You know, I've worn my hair the same way for 20 years, and it's really boring. I look in the mirror, I just look the same every day, and it'd be fun to dye your hair purple, wouldn't it? Just purple. But as we get older, we get afraid to do that. You know, we get a little stodgy. I am. I worry about what people think, you know. So I could never dye my hair purple. I couldn't put spikes in it either. I'd be afraid someone would tip me over and use me to pick up paper. But I've been listening in my attempts to get loose and not be, because one of the other things we do as we get old, we say, this is what old people, if you're going to get old, the first thing you have to learn is to say this: there hasn't been any good music written in the last 30 years. That's an old people rule. You have to say that before you can be old. And it's not true. There's been some great music written. And I've been listening to this weird station in Seattle. It's KCMU, and they play all the music no one else will play. And it's like strange. They have bands like Big Yuck Mouth. Stuff. And some of it is just awful. And some of it is wonderful. Some of it is just inventive and neat and weird. And I thought, I want to write one of those. I want to write a weird song. So I tried it. This is an old guy trying to write a weird young song. Do the inhibited dance. Do it. Take a chance. Don't do the inhibited dance. Do it. Take a chance, keep your hands at your side. All feelings denied, don't leave it to chance. Do the inhibited dance. Hide out in the pack. Don't look forward, don't look back. Everybody's watching you, don't give them a glance. Do the inhibited dance. dress right, act right, don't offend, don't pretend, dream of money, that's allowed, not sex in this crowd, we don't like romance. Zip up that skirt, pull up those pants, wear a suit, wear a tie, work hard, rise high, talk high finance, do the inhibited dance. Dye your hair purple, spike it, yeah. Go wah, 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 play stupid chords, go. Do the inhibited dance, do it. Take a chance, don't plunge in, be hesitant. Think of everything you say, you could be president someday. Or you could dance. I set out at the beginning of this year to write this whole show, and I was going to just get through it and come up with this blinding revelation at the end, some cosmic truth that where all the things I talked about would tie together and it would just change all your lives and probably change the world. And that didn't happen. And so instead, I'd like to talk about football. Football, the season's almost over now, and I know a lot of you women are pretty upset about that. Wives, a lot of wives like football season. That's that time of year when you can set your husband down in front of the TV set, get him a bunch of Doritos and beer, and go have fun for 6 months. I love sports. I love all sports, and I played all sports, but I never liked football. I played football in high school, and I just hated it because football is brutal. It's a tough game. And a lot of you women don't know what's going on a football field. Let me try and explain it to you. First of all, picture yourself first year in high school. So you stand about 5 feet tall, weigh about 112 pounds, pretty much packed with muscle, spring steel and rawhide. And you're going to go out on the old gridiron and hurt people. Because that's what you do as a football player. You go out and hurt people. And the theory of the game at that level is to run as fast as you can, crash head on into some 220-pound, 20-year-old 10th grader. Well, I did that once. When I came to with cleat marks all over me, turf sticking out of my nose and ears, I noticed a lessening in my love for the game. Also, I didn't wear glasses playing football because I thought only a sissy would wear glasses on a football field. And I can't see without my glasses. So I was the only guy that ever got blindsided from the front. So I was out there just getting killed, just people running over me from all sides, and I thought, boy, this is really fun. But on every play, I think, I want to be a football player. I want to be a guy, I want to be a hero. And this play, I'm going to do it. I'm going to run as fast as I can, crash into that fullback, and I'm going to be a star. And the fullback would start running, and I'd start running, and we'd be going faster and faster and coming together in a collision course, and my mind would be saying, yeah, go get him, run into him, sacrifice your body, be a hero. And my body would be saying, hey, wait a minute. Got a better idea down here. Let's go over there and roll around the dirt by ourselves. It'll look like we're playing, and we won't get killed. And that's what we did, and as a result, I was a terrible football player, probably the worst to ever set foot on the gridiron. But I never got hurt. And I played other sports, never got hurt until 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I played the deadliest sport of them all, the killer sport, the blood sport. I played badminton. Badminton on wet grass. And the first time I went to go for the shuttlecock, my feet slid out sideways, away from each other. I tried to wishbone myself. You know? And it hurt. I mean, big time. I tore the inside of both knees and a lot of other places, and it was a terrible injury because I couldn't brag about it. You can't walk around and say, oh yeah, I got hurt. I was sports. I'm a guy. Badminton. I was playing badminton. It doesn't work. Even as we speak, somewhere in this country, there are little kids, future poets and philosophers just getting killed on some football field. And I wanted to write them a song, teach them what I learned. When you've played the game terribly, and finally it is done, and the other team is shouting out, we're number one. When your strength is spent, your mind is gone, you're lying there supine. Look defeat right in the eye, throw back your head and whine. Yes, snivel, moan, grovel, and beg, why not? You've already lost. Pity is your only hope, so whine and damn the cost. Make a scene, demean yourself, it feels divine. Look defeat right in the eye, throw back your head and whine. Give me a W. Give me an H. Give me an I. Give me an N. Give me an E. Give me a whine. I don't want to whine. I just too much work to whine. I can't do it. Life isn't fair. Other creatures get to whine. Bears, lions, and wolves, they get hurt. They crawl off and they whine. No one runs up to them and says, hey, quit whining, be a wolf. But I felt terrible after football. I felt I wasn't a man. But one night, a huge grizzly bear came to me in a dream. And he said, Mike, someday you're going to walk out on a huge stage in front of thousands of people screaming, we want the Beach Boys. And you'll be scared to death. But you'll overcome your fear and you'll do your show, and at the end of that show, those people will stand up and scream, we want the Beach Boys. And that'll be your way of being a man. It'll be every bit as stupid as football. But I know how you feel, Mike. I'm a grizzly bear, but I didn't want to be a bear. I wanted to be a dancer. Ballet. I wanted to dance Swan Lake. And for years, I practiced and pirouetted through the forest trying to be a ballet dancer, and I didn't make it. And you know why? Because I had a lousy agent. One day I crawled back to my cave and I whined, and then I realized that I could never be a ballet dancer. I had to be a bear. I had to be a grizzly bear. And I came out of that cave and I rampaged through the forest and I tore down trees and I terrified campers, and it worked. I was a bear. And I got a football scholarship to Oklahoma. So Mike, when it comes to football, just snivel, moan, grovel, and beg, why not? You've already lost. Pity is your only hope, so whine and damn the cause. Make a scene, demean yourself, it feels divine. Look defeat right in the eye, throw back your head and whine. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful audience.